The consciousness and the cosmos, a path to one's own inner cosmos. Podcast offered by the Planetary Service Center. A collection of quotes featuring insightful recordings of Daniel Gagliardo's teachings, the founder and instructor of Cosmosophy line UXIM, recorded during Cosmosophy gatherings held across Europe and in the serene landscapes of UXIM, Argentina. Welcome back, dear listeners. My name is Arawinak. Today we're going to hear fragments from the book The Evolutionary Eating, Cooperation Among Kingdoms Through the Food Ingestion by Daniel Gagliardo. The topic we have chosen is what evolutionary eating is based on. Evolutionary eating, or nutrition, is based on a subjective principle: respect for the lower kingdoms and care for the being's etheric body. These two elements are deeply interconnected. If a being fails to show respect for the lower kingdoms, their material bodies, the personality, physical, mental, and emotional body, will be disharmonious, imbalanced, and toxic. When people seek to change their diet solely for personal gain, their intentions are selfish. Evolutionary eating seeks to reveal to beings that their intentions must be in harmony with the universal needs. In other words, an enlightened being who practices evolutionary eating does not harm this universe world, but nourishes it every time the being eats. The vegetable kingdom serves the mineral kingdom, as plants absorb minerals and thereby the minerals undergo an energy initiation. The same must occur with plants and vegetables in relation to human consciousness. Depending on the inner position they adopt while eating, human beings offer their consciousness as a temple in which plants undergo the necessary initiation, a form of spirituality put into practice. Unfortunately, this happens very rarely because people eat with selfish intentions and indifference. The cosmic archetype for the planet's evolutionary diet is for people to eat only plant-based food and, through it, to receive the energy of minerals. But humanity has strayed from this, has deviated from this, and is currently like a walking graveyard. The physical body of meat eater is very primitive because, in vibrational terms, it resembles that of carnivorous animals. Our choice is destroying this planet because, in order to feed the animals for the meat industry, the Amazon, all the forests and the fields that were once planted with vegetables and other crops are being totally destroyed. Change is needed, as is the courage to embark on new and unfamiliar paths. it is still possible for awakened people to overcome the toxicity of human culture on the surface of the planet and to transform themselves. At this stage in the development of all planetary life, only those who embrace the unknown will become instruments for assisting the planet's needs. Question from the audience. There is much talk of harmony and cooperation between the kingdoms, mineral, vegetable, animal, and human kingdoms. Yet people continue to eat animal-based food and treat animals cruelly. Yes, answers Daniel Gagliardo, there is a lack of coherence from an evolutionary perspective, and the theory is not put into practice. The being's consciousness must mature and attain the energy of compassion in relation to the animal kingdom, for example, in this case. A compassionate being understands that animals should not be used as food for humans, nor should they be ruthlessly exploited for selfish purposes. Yes, there are certain species of animals that feed on other animals, but that karmically corresponds to them. This is archetypally intended for them on the planet's surface. Until humanity has understood and accepted the archetype of its diet, there comes a point in the evolutionary trajectory of the human being when they must stop feeding on carcasses. A small percentage of people have already turned to the energy known as veganism and do not use anything from the animal kingdom in their lives. At the same time, many so-called, in brackets, spiritual beings still consume animal products, yet flaunt their search for truth in life. Thousands of years ago, we should have transitioned to a planet-based diet so as not to disrupt the circulatory order of energy between the various vibrational components of the planetary archetype. It was intended that the human kingdom should subsist solely on plant-based food. 12,000 years ago, we received significant encouragement from the cosmic hierarchies to organize agriculture in a way that would ensure humanity's transition to veganism. We failed to do so, and now we are paying dearly for it karmically. Instead of recognizing the divine within us, animals see us as killers. We do not allow them to experience all the evolutionary stages as archetypically plant. We genetically manipulate them and block their evolution in the name of our brutal selfishness. How did humanity come to adopt a meat-eating diet? Over many years ago, humanity has been strongly inclined towards a vegetarian diet, yet the majority of people have identified with the diet of carnivorous. At first, primitive people fed on plants, on vegetables, but they were later drawn to the remains that predators left behind after eating their prey. The animal food made them feel stronger, and over time, when they could not find any remains, they began to hunt. In this way, they unconsciously sought to obtain the protein they needed, as they were unaware of the benefits of a vegetarian diet. Around 20,000 years ago, the final major stimuli towards a plant-based diet was sent to humanity. Following the end of the last ice age, the hierarchy sent impulses to the more receptive human beings, receptive human minds, regarding organized agriculture, through which the archetype of the plant-based diet could manifest. Hierarchies, incarnated as human beings, taught other people how to achieve better results in growing vegetable. In many places across the planet, people were eating in accordance with the archetype, but at a certain point, some of them were influenced by regressive forces and began to apply the model of plant-vegetable cultivation they were already familiar with to the rearing of animals, selfishly exploring the kingdom, the animal kingdom. This laid the foundations of livestock farming, whereby people began to confine newborn animals in specially fenced-off areas and rear them for food. People gave up their monadic way of life and began to settle in places where they practiced agriculture and reared livestock. In those days, they even ate dogs and cats. Dogs served their owners faithfully, guarding their livestock, while the owners themselves fed them the remains of animals slaughtered for food but not eaten. But the dogs began to breed very quickly, so their owners started leaving 2 or 3 of them to keep guarding the livestock in the houses and eating the rest. At present, there are places and individuals on earth who have transcended the practice of eating the carcasses, eating meat, carcasses of slaughtered animals, and embody the archetype bestowed upon humanity by following a vegetarian or vegan diet. meetings with Daniel Gagliardo, participants are presented with stimuli and concepts drawn from their inner lives. The subjects discussed are determined by the questions posed by the attendees, thereby facilitating a valuable dynamic of communication and instruction. The acceleration of the apex of the planetary transition provides participants with tools of synthesis in these talks, intended for individuals or groups whose commitment to transformation confirms to their adherence to the cosmic order that will soon be restored on the planet. The consciousness and the cosmos, a path to one's own inner cosmos. Podcast offered by Planetary Service Center.